Hello, my name is Brooklyn Sanders. I hope you all are doing well. Today, I just want to lead you and introduce you to a stress relieving practice known as progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR. I'll probably refer to it as PMR in this video just to help because it's a bit of a mouthful. But progressive muscle relaxation is this technique that was founded by Edmund Jacobson, and he simply used it as a way to help patients in the hospital who looked tense. And later on in his book, he really, through doing this practice with people progressively for long periods of time, he saw a lot of improvements, not only to actual stress in terms of having worry and anxiety, but also just for tension and people who may find themselves in chronic pain or chronic tension. It's a great way to relieve all of that tension. And one thing that we know can be directly linked to stress, and a effect of stress is just this chronic pain and tension and inflammation within the body that's caused by cortisol. Cortisol will inflame your body like none else. Because when you get stressed, a lot of people get tight in their jaw, or their neck gets tight and it hurts, or their shoulders and your hips get tight. You know, we hold this tension throughout our bodies, particularly when we're in more high stress scenarios or anxiety ridden scenarios. And so progressive muscle relaxation is one of these techniques where we progressively practice an act of bracing or contracting our muscles and then releasing the tension as a way to, number one, it does physically help relieve some tension. It's not necessarily instantaneous. While you can notice instantaneous results, it is a progressive method, as in it's something that you have to practice daily for as little as 5 minutes a day. And people have really seen results over the past 3 to 6 months period is where you start really noticing results. But it's also, the thing I like about it is it's also known as a nerve muscle relaxation. And when we're talking about nerves, we have to start with our nerve center, which is our brain. And so progressive muscle relaxation is something that helps train our brain to, number one, identify areas of tension within our body. Because a lot of times you don't even realize that you're tense when you are. Right now my jaw is tense and I don't even know why. But when you can notice that, hey, I know this part of my body is tense, but a lot of times you may be able to recognize, oh, my shoulders are tense, but you may not know how to relieve that tension. And so through this practice, you're gaining an awareness, a body-mind connection of knowing, hey, this part of my body is tense, and you're knowing how to purposely tense it up and also purposely be able to release the tension itself. So you're rewiring some of your neural pathways to actually be able to untense a part of your muscle that may usually be untensed through massage or through getting an injection for some people, or taking an ibuprofen or icing and things like that. You're able to mentally, it's a mental superpower that you're able to do through this awesome, super easy and simple practice. And so the way that it's done is you go into a quiet, uninterrupted space, which also helps with stress relieving, just kidding. Into a quiet space. Maybe something that helps you relax is music. I maybe do music with no lyrics. I love worship music. And so whatever it is that gets you in a relaxing, stress-free environment, a room that's quiet, maybe a room that's dim, somewhere where you can be by yourself. Because while this isn't a meditation practice in and of itself, where you're not sitting and being mindful or practicing mindfulness, there is a meditation aspect to it, to where you're really needing to quiet all distractions and really connect with your brain and also connect with your body, which sounds a little strange and holistic, which I don't think is wrong and weird, but I know it can sound strange to some. And so you get into a quiet room, and I like to start just by, and I'm gonna lead you through it now. So whether start on the ground, usually you lay down. I'm not gonna lay down for the purpose of this video, but if you're watching this and you wanna practice, you lay down. I like to start just by taking some deep breaths with my eyes closed. Just starting to relax, because you can even feel there's an active bracing here with your diaphragm and in your lungs, and then you're releasing. So right there is a muscle relaxation. Your diaphragm is a muscle. And it's when you're doing this, so maybe you wonder, when was the last time I took a deep breath today? You're let me just take some calming breaths. So immediately you probably feel a little bit better. You have a little bit of clarity because there's more oxygen even getting to your brain. And when was the last time you took a deep breath? Because A lot of times when you're anxious, your heart starts to race. You start to breathe a little bit heavier. When you're stressed, you're like, you're taking shorter, less effective breaths. So the goal is you want to take deep, deep breaths. And you start from your feet, and you like to work all the way up if you can. And so one of the first ways that you can do this is by taking your foot and pointing your toe upwards, holding it. I like to hold for about 10 seconds. So I go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then pointing it like this and relaxing the muscle. And so in that, you should feel some tension maybe in the back of your calf. You're tightening it, and then releasing. And I like to practice that a couple different times. You kind of treat it as if you're doing like a workout at the gym. So I like to do like 3 or 4 times for about 10 seconds. Then you can move on. Something that you can do is your hips. And so just tightening, usually in your glutes, tightening for 10 seconds, releasing. Do it again. The next thing you can do is your arms. Literally, you can start by balling up your fist and just tightening all of your arms all the way up for 10 seconds, releasing, and then doing it again. And then you can do your face, literally like, I look really silly right now, but we really hold a lot of tension in our face. Even doing that, I was like, it felt so relieving. And you can do it as large scale. That was more doing big zones of your body. Or you can do some more like targeted areas. As the more you get to know your body and know where more areas of tension are, you can target more things. So like, even if it's just curling your toes and then releasing and then pointing and then maybe doing your fingers and then doing your wrists and then maybe doing your bicep, and then you can get your shoulder. With different ways, you can break it up into smaller areas, but it's all up to you. It's all through practice. And the one thing I really love about this technique is there are no rules. The only rule, the only stipulation is that you brace and release. And it's just a beautiful practice that's easy to integrate into being at home. It's easy to integrate into our schedules. Just get alone, give yourself 5 minutes. Take a little bit of time, spend a little time. It's self-care, getting to know your body, checking in with yourself, seeing how you're doing. And I promise, even though you may not see the long-term benefits if you don't keep it up, even one session, you may not notice that you feel less tense per se, like you suddenly all of your shoulder pain is gone. But I think you gain a mental awareness of, wow, I'm tense. This was a really stressful day. Maybe this weighed a little bit more heavily on my body than I even thought it did. And I think that's a great awareness to have, and something to be able to stop yourself in your tracks and really take a minute to think and use your internal coping mechanisms, whether that's through prayer, meditation, or journaling, or even just through thinking. A lot of times when we're stressed out, we don't even take a time to stop and think, quiet all the noise, limit our distractions, and slow down and process. So this gives you time to process. It gives you time to relax, gives you time to breathe. Seriously, when was the last time you took a deep breath? And even through these little small practices, I've done this a couple times in preparing for this video, and also as one of my practices throughout this course, and I promise it really does help. So I hope you give PMR a try, and I hope this class has been a wonderful journey to living a life that is not stress-free, because I think that might be impossible, but a life where stress isn't the thing that controls you, but you control your stress.